Hey guys, so we wanted to discuss kind of a part two of the aftermath of the show weekend, our goals moving forward, Matt's decisions moving forward with my diet, my training, my cardio, what kind of transpired the weekend after, or rather the night after the show, how we approached food the next day and training the following week, and our plans for next year. So after finals, we did stay pretty late because I was getting feedback, as we mentioned in the last video. We discussed that, but we went out to Yard House.
And I was the one pushing for that. I was hungry.
Yeah, it was pretty late. It was probably midnight by the time we got out there. But I had just a chicken and avocado sandwich with sweet potato fries, and a girlfriend, shout out to Hannah, made me cookies, and I had a couple bites of those. Nothing too crazy. I didn't go and buy a bunch of food that I hoarded in my hotel room to eat all night.
Oh, you missed. Okay, just an important detail. The overall winner gets to shoot the next morning. So she had a photo shoot the next morning with all the overall winners. So I think that was also part of her ability to adhere to a plan, is the fact that she needed to represent not only herself but the IFBB the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah, so I didn't go too crazy after by any means. And even on the drive up, you were like, well, what do you want to eat? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't really have anything I want. But so we did the photo shoot for the overall winners the following morning. That was at about 10. At this point, I had already done 30 minutes of cardio at the hotel just to move around, and just because it's part of my routine. I like to keep that all year, no matter if I'm a day out or a year out of a show. Like it's just always something that I like to do. And I think that's also really important in sticking to a reverse diet, but I can talk about that later. But in terms of the next day after the photo shoot, we went to breakfast. I ordered just an omelet with an egg whites and I think turkey sausage. I gave Eddie my toast. I had fruit. We shared pancakes. Like, it was by no means an all-you-can-eat, how much can I fit in my stomach before I throw up thing. And then we went and walked around downtown Orlando, like in the outlets. So it helped that we were moving around, not just sitting in the car or hopping back on a plane after having ingested all that food. So I felt fine all day Sunday. And when I got home, and it was about a 2.5-hour drive. When I got home, I made chicken and asparagus and then unpacked, got myself situated at home. And then that night I made shrimp, steak, cauliflower stir fry from Trader Joe's, which is fire. And then I had a glass of wine too, because my mom wanted to get me that as a celebratory gift. And I really didn't go too crazy. And also knowing that we had Thanksgiving coming up on the following Thursday, I had no need to, I had no unfulfilled craving, because I knew that I was going to be able to enjoy Thanksgiving, and I was that much more determined to just follow the plan, knowing that I would be able to enjoy a meal with my family. And it wasn't even about the food for me at that point. It was about being able to sit at the same table with my family and being able to eat the food that they took all day, if not a few days, to prepare for me and for everybody, and to enjoy everyone's company and to not worry about them accommodating my needs, which they're so great about doing, or me bringing my own food. I was just able to be there and be with them and be in the moment and enjoy time spent with them and enjoy food with them, which I haven't done for a long time, because after dieting for the whole beginning half of the year, thinking I was doing a show, I, either brought my own food, they cooked for me something that I could eat, which was just very plain and basic, obviously. And I really never got to enjoy that time with them without worrying about, did my grandma cook this with oil? Did my mom trim the fat off this? Should I just bring my own? Like, there's a lot. While their efforts are appreciated, I still get anxious about just bringing my own food and worrying about what is on my plan. And it was just nice to be able to sit down with them and enjoy that. And going into the week, I did my cardio Monday morning, and I was ready to train after work. It was getting close to 5 o'clock, just about the time I get off, and I'm getting ready to change my clothes. I'm going to make my pre-workout drink, and Matt comes up to me and he says, I don't want you to train this week. You just need to chill. And in my mind, I'm like, what, are you kidding right now? Because I have this like legacy to build for myself and I have to start right now. And then after kind of taking a step back and realizing what I had put my body through for the past, even just 2 weeks of my prep, it was a lot. And what was your reasoning behind wanting me to take
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few things. Honestly, it's a hard dynamic with coaching because I grew up playing athletics where whatever my coach said went, and there was no discussing after that. But like within physique sports, this is almost like it's like glorified customer service, you know. But I do have specific athletes that I feel like I can have that like real coaching relationship with, where I can say something and it just goes, you know. So earlier on that day, let me backtrack. So this win was so important to me because not only did I know that it meant so much to Nadia, but also like as us, you know, with Camp Jansen, I have a few select goals. I want to talk about her right now, but there's a few things that I want to make sure happens. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure happened was that she turned pro and that she won the overall. Because I feel like that's going to put a stamp of significance on her ability, not only as an athlete, but also as a coach in terms of her being able to lead people. So then let's go into Sunday on the way home, and we talked about how, you know, she now has a responsibility to really follow through with her social media and just kind of give back to people, and the overwhelming amount of support that she has, you know, like to kind of feed back into those people and help them and just thank them. So earlier on in the afternoon on Monday, she said, you know, we had a game plan, and she said that she was already starting to feel overwhelmed by the amount of support that she was getting on social media and how she was going to get back to everybody. Because within Revive, like we hit the ground running hard here, you know. So in the morning for her, it's cardio. It's I got to get home. I got to get ready. I have a very intensive job where I cannot be on my phone for 7 hours. And then I train, and then I need to get ready for the next day. So like she's, you know, thinking in her head, when am I going to fit this social media time in to thank all these people that are reaching out to me? So she told me that. And then also the other thing is too, is I knew, and you know, in the past episode, I just talked about like, even though she had such a fresh look on stage, I knew what it took to get there. And I also wanted her, I think it's important post-show to allow your body to rest and also to mentally get to a point where you miss the gym so bad that you can't stand but go back. So I wanted to kind of create that environment for her. I initially wanted her to rest. I wanted her to be able to get back to the people that she needed to get back to without feeling stressed about doing it. And I wanted her to just have a time away from the gym so that way when she did come back to the gym, she was 100% all in. Mm-hmm. Because just this week, just to kind of put a stamp on what I'm talking about here, I've had 2 athletes that have come to me now 3 to 4 weeks post-show, and they're like, Matt, I've hit a wall this week that I don't know what happened. And the reason why is because they went running out of the gates the Sunday after the show, and they didn't rest, and they didn't heed that feedback that I said, hey, take the next 4 days off. And now 3 weeks down the line, like their body's telling them, like, look, I'm not moving anymore, you know? So I wanted that process for her to happen because she did work so hard. So that's kind of my thought process and the why I did that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it is, when you think about it, even just the weekend of the show, the few days leading up to it, at the end of your peak week, while you're not maybe doing as much cardio, while you're not training anymore before the contest, like you're still putting your body through a lot, whether it be through just posing and going through your rounds and not being as hydrated, or just perhaps being at that state where, you know, you're so dry that with every step you take, you hear your bones crack. Like there's just certain things that you kind of forget, even though you're not training and doing cardio. And it might not seem as intense, but Monday night, as I'm getting back into real life and as I'm, you know, slowly kind of getting back to my groove, I was tired. And I saw Jeff on Tuesday. He is one of the physical therapists here at Revive, and he helps myself, he helps you, he helps Nick with a lot of our body work and recovery. And when I took my check-ins Monday, I could hardly turn my body. Like I felt so stiff and just tired and heavy, and like I had woken up after an evening hour of cardio. Like it felt very similar, just because my body had been put through so much. And I think that it was actually imperative that I did have that time because now going into my training again, I'm fresher. I mean, I even told you, like, my sciatic nerve flared up, which I didn't even know until I saw then Christiana on Saturday at the end of this week. I was experiencing some like numbness in my toes, and it always happens after my shows, and it's just through the heels and the rigorous posing, and it looks easy, which is what I practice to make it look like, and that's my goal, is to make it look easy. But the contortions you make to your body while you're up there posing and going through your routine and being compared on stage and holding that and doing it without having your foot on the floor is very tough, and it hurts. And I know that if I'm posing and my body doesn't, feel pulled in one direction or is, hurting one way, like in my low back or in my upper back as I'm twisting my shoulders, like I'm not posing hard enough. And I have to pose hard to look my best and to present my best angles. And so that takes a toll on me. So I had work done to my body on Tuesday and on Saturday that week. I had trained on Thanksgiving, just did like a mild back and bicep workout. I just wanted to move around knowing that I was going to be having a nice plate later on. And then Friday morning, I just trained legs, fasted. I never trained fasted, but I had a full belly and I felt like I was perfectly well fed enough to train in the morning. And then Saturday, I ended up taking off. On Sunday, I trained shoulders and triceps. I had a push day Sunday, and then Monday, yesterday, I trained legs. And so today I'm resting. Tomorrow, because last week was kind of choppy and just not necessarily consistent with my normal split, I'm going to pick up tomorrow with day one of my split, which is back and biceps again, and just go from there and do everything as I normally do, but better and like a pro now, which I've been acting on for the longest time. And I posted this on my Instagram story, but this is something that I've been speaking into existence for myself for a long time, and just not something that, was, oh, well, maybe it'll happen. It was something that I firmly believed in and something that I really wanted for myself. So I did everything in my power to make it happen. And there wasn't anything that I wasn't going to be willing to do to make it happen. So it wasn't just something that happened by chance. I didn't get lucky. I didn't just, win by a hair. I won by a unanimous vote. And to me, that speaks volumes, and that speaks to my truth of what I'm meant to do and my potential for the future. And so I want to take that and do as much as I can with it.
Some other things that I want to talk about too, just really quick, is the training. I think there's so many misconceptions within training that your training needs to change, that how you train needs to change. And one of the first conversations we had is I told her, I was like, I don't really think we need to change much at all.
Yeah.
Now there might be a few exercises that like you're just bored of, but it's more so about the planes of motion that you're in and replicating those planes of motion. But from a physique perspective on stage, like, I couldn't have been more proud of the way that she looked, in terms of, we were trying to go for this like full bikini look the whole time, not strung out, upper body full, round, and we did it. And the stamp of evidence on that was the fact that the judges' feedback, they told us, like, we love the fullness of your upper body. So she's going to continue to train hard. She's going to continue to train with performance goals in mind, to keep the lever forward.
Yeah, I'm right back to logging my training and trying to be my previous best. It's not like I'm powerlifting here by any means, but I am just trying to consistently improve, because the last 5 months I've been doing that, and it's been working as best as it could. Like, it couldn't have gone any better for us. And the progress that we've made just in that short time, where we were eating a surplus of calories and were feeding myself a significant amount of food, we were able to make great changes. And the change to my training initially from the start of us working together really did just spark a lot of new change and a lot of new growth, and just an overall better package. And that doesn't need to be changed. It's not broken. It doesn't need to be fixed.
And then the last thing I want to talk about in this video, and this is going to be the challenging part for more so Nadia emotionally, is like, her having to let go of her current physique. And we started to address this a little bit yesterday. So going back to the last video and really this prep as a whole, like her breaking 127 pounds, that was extremely challenging for us in terms of breaking through that plateau.
Yeah,
so
I think I stayed there for like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. So in my mind, her natural set point is at 127. So and I know what it took to get to 127. So we basically got down to basically 123, and then with water manipulation, diuretic manipulation, it was down to 120. She did a really good job of holding 123 all week until Thanksgiving. Jumped up to 128. So yesterday with her update, I think there was a little bit of a sense of uneasiness in terms of her look. Also just chemically, everything was removed. Because again, within a short off season, my goal is to kind of get homeostasis back with her as fast as possible, so that way her body is responsive when we put her through the process again, rather than delaying homeostasis and then having her body fight against us. So this is the part where it's like she's having to retrust me all over again, but yet now I've proven myself, so I think this process will be easier than the first. But like you girls, like you can't hold on to that look. Even as a guy, like the way that I looked on the days leading up to USA's in 2018, I would do anything to maintain that look, but it's just not realistic. Like you just can't do it.
Yeah. When you start to think logically, you realize that you don't feel good either.
Right.
It makes no sense to keep yourself there.
So that I think is going to be the part that we can document now, like where she's at mentally, where she's at emotionally, how her body's responding, the truth and the reality of progress pictures, because she's never going to look sloppy. But when you compare a stage crisp 120 pound picture versus what she might look like in 4 weeks at 134, there's going to be a difference there. But that's her body getting back to regulating to being the woman that she was created to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's also like me as a coach, I know that that's a challenge for her. And even yesterday, we talked about it through a check-in, and I just said, let's just ride this out, which this morning she was at 128, 129, 130. This morning she's back down at 123, which is awesome. But yet I still don't want to encourage that 123 because I know it's not realistic.
Yeah.
And we need to get out of this spot, because if she wants to compete in May, which that's kind of the goal, we can't hold this look for forever. So it's just kind of being there for her emotionally. Even yesterday, I just walked over to her during training and just kind of reiterated the fact that, like, look, you're good. Like, don't worry about it. We don't need to hold on to this. There's no satisfaction. We did what we set out to do. Anything between now and the next time that you step on stage needs to be about progressing your physique and also getting healthy, so that way you can continue to do what you want to do. So that's where we're at. And I want to say that to you girls that are watching this, because it's so crucial. I see it so often, but there's so many girls that have so much potential that rise up to the top of the sport and then fall off. And I think the reason why is because they overly try to hold themselves into a diet for way too long, and it's just not sustainable. Yeah. It's not realistic, and then your body stops responding, and then when your body stops responding, you disappear, because then you have nothing to show for anymore. Mm-hmm. And your self-worth can't be based off of a stage look that isn't realistic to hold in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And when you try and hold on to that small stage-ready body that you have for as long as you can, not only is it mentally challenging because you're battling, what you should be doing versus what you prefer to look like. And that the smarter thing to do is to get back to that happy place that your body likes. Like for me, it's nearly like 127, 130, somewhere between there. And the longer you wait to do that.
Likes 140, but that's another discussion.
The longer you wait to get there, the further you're pushing back your ability to perform as well and make necessary changes if you need to make those changes. That's how people just get on stage and look the same, is because they hold on to what they want to look like, which is a more shredded, lean look, and they aren't able to, they're not willing to get uncomfortable to the point where, not that we're gaining pounds and pounds of fat after a show. We just want to get it to a point where performance is better and where I feel better on a daily basis, because even though I wear it well, I'm tired and I'm hungry, and I want to come home and go to bed. And that's not how I live my happiest life. You know, I want to have sustained energy levels throughout the day. I don't want to be checking the clock every 20 minutes. Has it been 3 hours yet? You know, I want to be able to train and not feel so fatigued to the point where I'm dreading my training because I can't perform as well. And I want to be able to move forward and make the best changes that I can, especially since we do want to compete in the near future. That doesn't give us a lot of time. If we're competing this spring and like in 6 months from now, that gives us like 3 months of an off season, which isn't very long at all. And especially if I was someone who needed to grow, who needed to significantly improve their physique, who needed to make those drastic changes, that's not a long time at all. So by holding on to the more flattering look and the look that's going to get more likes on Instagram, it's not doing yourself any favors, and it's only holding you back from, you know, a better package and being a better competitor. And at the end of the day, staying true to your word and keeping yourself in line with your goals, that is going to in itself keep you feeling fulfilled and confident. And I don't think that the way to get there is through simply how you look in the mirror all the time. I think that through training progression, through focusing on other things besides a new low weight, there's so much more to look forward to than just how sharp can you get for the stage and how long can I stay there for. Because if you're in the sport to just look a certain way all the time, then I personally don't think you're doing it for the right reasons. And letting go of being lean as I am and looking my best, because I hold myself then to that much higher of a standard every time I do get better, it does get harder and harder to let that go. But it also is required of me to kind of come back to reality and remember why I'm doing this, what I'm doing it for, and what I love about this. And it's not for the reason that I want to be shredded all the time. That's not why I do this. So bottom line is you just have to remember your why, really, I guess, and just focus on the next step and the plan that you have for yourself going forward, because you're not going to go forward if you hold yourself back from going there.
Yeah, so we're going to continue to do these videos. We definitely want them to be driven by you guys, so please just comment, let us know what you want to talk about. Obviously, we'll continue to bring you her updates. But it's been an awesome few weeks. It was awesome getting to share this together. It was awesome getting her to see her prep in person, and you know, just getting to accomplish this goal together as a team. It's really been fun, and I appreciate. I said this to her and Eddie. I really appreciate the way that they treated me as well, because it's not often the way that it goes at shows. But it was a great experience. I'm excited. I think it won't be Nick's pro debut, but Nadia and Nick might do their next show together. But we'll see based off of the schedule and what this crazy world's doing. But we'll be done with this video, and we'll be back with her next pro off-season video update.
Bye.